What is happening, all you sexy YouTube warriors out there? Range Day Bro back at it again, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Unity Tactical Fast COG Riser and Offset. Let's get into it. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, I like to start my videos off with a positive note. We are talking about guns. We know what these things are all capable of, but as the great Kid Cudi always says, peace is something that starts with me. So just make sure you guys are focusing on your mental health and working on yourselves and working on your inner peace, because that's the only way we can be at peace with the world and enjoy our lives and enjoy the freedoms that these guns do afford us. And yeah, so just want to start that off on a positive note. All right, guys, so before we get into the review, I did want to just talk a little bit about today's sponsor for the video, and that's all you kings out there who are watching. So if you are here, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and check your subscription now and subscribe if you like this content. Thank you in advance to every king who does subscribe, who is subscribed. If you've been subscribed, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. So if you guys want to do more to support the channel, you can also head over to rangedaybro.com and check out some of the merch. We got t-shirts. You can also support the channel by heading over to rangedaybro.com and buying a gun charm or 2 or 3. Here we have the Nintendo 64 controller, and the way this works is it's a nylon 3D printed charm on a piece of paracord, micro paracord right here, hand tied, and it just goes into any unused QD point on your rifle. So as you can see over here, I have my sling hooked up, 2-point Blue Force Vickers sling, and I'm using my gun charm over here on the offside of my BCM quad rail where I have an unused QD point. There's one up here as well, but this is just where I like to run mine, stays out of the way. As you guys can see in the footage, it never gets in my way. So if you guys want to support the channel and defend the Second Amendment, then go head over to pick up a gun charm, because 55.6% of all the profits from every gun charm sold is donated to the GOA, Gun Owners of America, and the Gun Owners Foundation, with the goal of abolishing the NFA and abolishing the ATF. You all know what's going on with braces right now. I'm dating my video because it is January of 2023, and the ATF just released their new letter, the new ruling on pistol braces, which is completely tyrannical. However, there are good people out there fighting for our gun rights, so that's the reason I created the gun charms. I'm a first-generation American. I feel very strongly about our right to keep and bear arms. I think that's the biggest thing that separates us from every other nation on the planet, and why we are truly free here in America. All right, guys, so now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk fast. I mean, the Unity Fast Riser. So the Unity Fast COG mount that you see right here is much like any other product in the Unity Fast lineup. So we've done reviews on the Unity Riser, which you saw on my Mark 18, which I had my EOTech on top of, and their flip to center magnifier. So this does exactly the same thing, except for it does it with an ACOG. So why would you want to have a Unity Fast Riser? So all the benefits that we stated before for the Riser kind of goes hand in hand with the COG mount as well. So you're going to have a faster sight acquisition, faster target acquisition, because it's a more natural heads up shooting position. You guys can tell in the footage, which I'll roll in right here, I'm running drills with this thing, and it is incredibly fast and intuitive to come up and find my chevron and my ACOG here. And yeah, so it just makes it a lot faster, gives you more heads up shooting position, which gives you a more even view of the battlefield, as I've shown in previous videos, but I'll show you again. When I'm at a higher mount, my head is more up and down. You see my reticle is right on y'all right now, and my head's straight up and down. With a regular ACOG mount, my head would have to crank over quite a bit more, like so, and then I'm seeing less of what's down over here and less of what's up over here in a wartime kind of real life scenario, and it's just faster to me. So really love this mount for the most part. Now, let's talk first impressions. Out of the box, what did I notice immediately? And you could see it right here on this offset mount. It was a really gaudy gold that just really was a big turnoff for me. It was like a gold that you'd see on a $10 gold chain you see at the mall, a fake gold chain. Like, it looked really bad out of the box. So I did have to spray paint it and knock down some of that gaudiness. I just didn't get around to doing the offset yet, but that was one of the first things that struck me, was the color. The second thing that really struck me was how lightweight it was. It was extremely lightweight. It's all hollowed out underneath, so it makes it a really lightweight package. And it kind of goes with the theme of the ACOG because it is such a lightweight optic. Unlike the Unity Riser I did previously, I have an offset micro red dot on here. It comes with this little arm. It just comes right off the bottom of your COG mount. You can mount it forward or backwards. And then it comes with just different mounting plates. I have the arm mounting plate on here with the Holosun 507C ACSS. So it's got a red chevron on that guy. Yeah, so it's a little bit different. Now, full disclosure, the Unity Fast Riser, you can actually put this offset on there. I don't really know why you do that. Some guys have some videos about why you could, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but this makes a lot more sense when you have a magnified optic versus having an EOTech and a red dot offset, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's talk a little bit about the setup of this guy and why I have it positioned and all that, how I have it. So as you guys can tell, I have the ACOG, it's slightly mounted to the rear position. So if I take this off, you can see it better from this angle without that in the way. So you can actually tell that the back of the ACOG is actually hanging off the bottom of the Unity mount. And that's because you can mount this thing canted in the rear position like I have it right here, or you can mount it right in the center position, or technically you could run it forward, which wouldn't make any sense to me given the extremely short eye relief that the TA31 ACOG is known for. This is the reason I have it positioned in the rearward position, and then all the way as far back as it'll go in my upper receiver, just to give me the shortest eye relief while keeping my buttstock extended, how I typically like to run it. And that's exactly where I like to run it, as you can tell by my paint choice. I really like this solution. I've never owned any of the other ACOG lifting / moving to the rear devices. I know that you can get a standard mount and then get a spacer which raises the optic and also moves it to the rear. I forget what those things are called, but I do like the fact that this is a one-piece solution, and I'm not knocking those other solutions. I've never, as I just mentioned, I've never used them, so I can't really say anything negative about them, but I do like the fact, and the reason I went with the Unity instead of going that route was because it's one piece and it does all of that with just one solution. And so that's the reason I have it mounted up. Now, as far as the offset goes, it does come with the screws you need. So it actually come with 2 replacement screws. It'll replace the 2 screws, whichever ones you decide to use, with longer screws so that it can accommodate for that thickness of the arm there. And then 2 other screws right there in the center, as well as the screws to mount the plate to it. So it's very intuitive. Is there a benefit, and I was asking myself this question, is there a benefit to having it integrated into the mount besides looking cool? I don't know. I think the obvious one is it saves you on rail space. Maybe if you had a shorter gun without a full top rail or something of that sort. I don't know if there's really a benefit to that. And keeping it closer to your face, if that's something you're looking at or interested in, I don't know, because I don't have enough time on offset red dots. If I'm just being honest, I don't want to tell you guys, you know, this is the way to go, this is the end all be all, because it's going to come down to preference, really. Did I find this to be extremely intuitive, easy to use, and fast? Absolutely. I did think that this setup surprised me, especially for it being my first time running it today, transitioning from the ACOG to the red dot back and forth. As you guys will see in the footage, it was very fast, and I impressed myself. And obviously my first few runs were much slower, and then as I got used to it, I got faster and faster. So is there an inherent superiority to having it integrated into the mount? I don't think so. Is it nice to have? Yes, it is nice to have, because it's going to give you more rail space and it's going to keep the optic closer to you. But yeah, that's about the only 2 benefits I could really think of. One thing that I did forget to mention, and when I was talking about unboxing it and getting it all out, it does come with very simple instructions as far as all the torque specs, which I really appreciated. I hate having to search the web. It was just, I'm pretty sure it was a QR code I scanned, and it took me right to their webpage, where it gave me every single torque spec for every screw, very clear and simple and straightforward. So I zeroed my ACOG at 100 yards because that's the way the ACOG BDC is set up. And then I zeroed the offset red dot at 50 yards because I'm going to be doing a lot more close-up work with this thing. And what I found was it was very comfortable using either setup. So shooting long range using the ACOG was very easy, was very comfortable. Now, granted, I wasn't, you know, going really crazy with different shooting positions. I was humbled by the shooting off a barricade at 300 yards. That humbled me really quickly. I thought it'd be a lot easier than it was, but I'm also still learning the BDC, the drops on this guy. It's the first time I'm actually using this ACOG as well. So this whole setup is brand new to me. The gun is not, but the optic setup is. So it was very comfortable sitting down on the bench. I did shoot out to 500 yards and get hits relatively consistently. It was a very windy day, 18-mile-an-hour winds with 35-mile-an-hour gusts. So it was really tough playing the wind, but with a 55 grain 5.56 at 500 yards out of a 13.7-inch pin and welded barrel, I'm very impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I was very happy with the way it performed. Very comfortable shooting long range, and then up close and personal, it is almost crazy how much more naturally it feels to shoot the gun canted. Not quite as canted as I need to get to the red dot. It's kind of like right in the middle is where my body wants to be with it. It doesn't want to be straight up and down. This does not feel as natural to me as this slight cant does. So moving it over just a little bit more almost feels more natural to me than shooting it straight up and down, if I'm being honest. And oftentimes I'm shooting straight up and down. I'm not quite straight up and down. I have a little cant to the gun just for the way my body works, guys. And let me just preface all this by saying, just because it works for me doesn't mean it works for you. And I just found out today that it works for me because I just went and ran it today. You know, oftentimes I'll get a setup that I'm really excited about, and then I'll go out and shoot it and I'm like, man, that didn't turn out how I thought it would. And that's part of swallowing your pride and not giving in to the mob when saying, okay, well, there's hype behind this, or your confirmation bias because I paid money, a lot of money for this, that, you know, I'm going to just stick behind it even though if it's not working for me. I really just did like this setup. I really enjoyed it. What's my affiliation with Unity Tactical? Nothing. They didn't give me any discounts on this. I bought this on Black Friday for a pretty good discount off of Primary Arms. So that was cool, but they didn't send it to me. So I don't have to say nice things about it. What is the negative to this setup? I would just say first and foremost, the price. I mean, it's not as expensive as the riser and flip to center magnifier combo. However, it's still really expensive for what it is. It's just a piece of machined aluminum. So I understand it's high quality aluminum, but it's kind of ridiculous how much it costs in my humble opinion. But this setup is going to be a go to war setup all day long. It's bomb proof. ACOG has been proven overseas. And so far I've had zero issues with any kind of zero shift. I just zeroed these today, but I do have about 600 rounds on them just in one day of shooting. So yeah, if you guys don't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because no ammo sponsors. That's all on me, guys. So every little bit helps. I gotta say, I'm very impressed with the setup. I was very happy with it. And I'm impressed with myself. I did humble myself on that shooting on that wall, hopping from step to step, trying to hit 300 yards. That was pretty embarrassing, if I'm being honest. But when I got up to about 40 yards, 35 yards with the reduced C-zone IPSC target and the hostage plate there from TA Targets, I really started ripping and rolling, and it felt really good. There were quite a few times I just missed every single shot I was taking, but I was going for speed, and there were quite a few times when I hit every single time. So really great, intuitive, natural feeling setup for me personally. And I think that anyone who's interested in the setup, you wouldn't be remiss or you wouldn't have any regrets in going with this, just because, again, you know what you're getting. You're getting a one-piece solid mount from a good company, made from good materials. And this thing is, I mean, it's right there. It's right where you need it, right when you want it to be. It's not too far of a cant, and it's just right there. I always want to stop a little bit short, so that took me some getting used to. I want to stop a little short of going all the way over. But I like the height as well of the offset red dot. It is equally as high. So if you were doing some passive aiming through nods, probably just pull this stock out all the way, and then you could aim through there as well pretty easily with night vision, although I haven't done it, so full disclaimer. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. I don't need to overcomplicate this. This is not an overcomplicated item or product, rather. There's no reason to really super dissect every single little aspect of it. Did I like it? Yes. Did I enjoy shooting with it? Yes. Did I get better with it as the day went on? Absolutely. Am I going to keep it? Absolutely. I'm going to keep this setup, and I think this is going to be one of my continuous go-to rifles if I need to grab one in the case of defending my life. This rifle, this optic setup is absolutely going to be at the top of the list. So I got to say I'm pretty impressed with it, but that's pretty much all I got to say. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. It means a lot to me, guys. As I mentioned in the beginning, if you guys want to support the channel, go check out rangedaybro.com for the Scar Tropical shirt, any of the other shirts that we have. I designed them all myself. Or if you want to be a real fucking champ, a real king, pick up a gun charm. We have 4 different designs right now for the preseason. We have more coming out in the future. 55.6% of all the profits from every gun charm sold goes to fighting the NFA and abolishing the ATF. Once again, y'all, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. Pretty soon we'll have some more of a studio type setup in here. Right now, this is just kind of temporary. The room's still being set up. We just moved into this new place, so bear with me. We'll have some time. It'll be looking really sick pretty soon. So I really appreciate you guys staying to the end. Until next time, stay safe, stay dangerous. Range Day Bro, out.